Alright guys, we are gonna be reacting to We Have Been Watching You for 72 hours when German KSK embrace unity, I think it is. We're gonna react to this guy. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. Let's jump in here and see what's going on.
In the freezing, dense forests of Eastern Europe during a sprawling NATO joint readiness exercise, a team of United States Army Green Berets dug into a classified observation post. For 3 days, the Americans, widely considered the absolute masters of unconventional warfare and woodland survival, operated under the assumption that they were the invisible apex predators of the battle space. They monitored enemy movements, logged communication frequencies, and remained perfectly concealed, or so they thought. During the post-exercise debrief, a commander from Germany's elite Tier 1 unit, the Kommando Spezialkräfte, walked up to the American team leader, handed him a dossier of high-resolution infrared photographs, and delivered a devastating reality check. "We had been watching you for 72 hours. The Americans hadn't just been spotted, they had been mathematically dissected by a sniper team resting less than 200 yards away. Today, we are breaking down the exact camouflage geometry, the thermal evasion physics, and the terrifying psychological endurance that allowed a German shadow unit to embarrass the world's premier trackers." To understand the magnitude of this tactical upset, you must first understand the target. The US Army Special Forces, the Green Berets, are not standard infantry. They are the authors of modern guerrilla warfare.
Of the top.
Their training pipeline, specifically the legendary Robin Sage exercise, is built entirely around infiltrating hostile territory, living off the land, and remaining completely undetected by indigenous forces.
Almost like a Metal Gear guy. I will say Rambo too. Snake from Metal Gear. That's what they are. Multiple Solid Snake soldiers. Or Rambo. That's what it is. Very tough mentally.
A Green Beret operational detachment understands how to mask their thermal signature. They know how to build a subsurface hide site that visually seamlessly blends with the forest floor. They patrol using step tracking techniques to ensure they leave zero disturbed vegetation behind them. In a woodland environment, a Green Beret is mathematically designed to be invisible. For a foreign unit to not only find them, but to actively surveil them for 3 consecutive days without triggering a single perimeter alarm is a statistical anomaly.
Wow.
It requires a level of tactical discipline that borders on the inhuman. The KSK did not achieve this by relying on better night vision or louder guns. They achieved it through their deep historical DNA. While American Special Operations heavily emphasize kinetic, direct-action raids, kicking down doors and overwhelming the enemy, the KSK sniper and reconnaissance elements draw their lineage from the Fernspeer, the legendary German long-range reconnaissance patrols of the Cold War. During the height of Soviet tensions, these men were trained to dig holes near the Fulda Gap and simply sit there for weeks, calculating Soviet tank columns.
That's crazy, bro. That's intense training right there.
The culture within the KSK,
that's
where
intense.
Patience is not just a virtue, it is a weaponized science. When a KSK sniper team builds a hide site, they do not just throw camouflage netting over a hole. They engage in what military engineers call geometric disruption. The human eye is biologically hardwired to detect straight lines, perfect circles, and symmetrical shapes, things that do not exist in nature. The KSK...
Again, I don't want to be that guy, but what do you guys think about females being in infantry? I just want to say that. Let me know in the comment section below. I just see them in infantry. I'm like, oh, man, I don't think that's a good idea. My personal opinion, but I want to hear you guys' opinions.
Mathematically eliminate these from their profile. Every piece of local foliage woven into their ghillie suits is oriented to match the natural droop of the surrounding vegetation. If the pine needles in the area point down at a 45-degree angle due to rain, the sniper's camouflage is meticulously altered to mirror that exact 45-degree angle. But visual camouflage means absolutely nothing in modern warfare if you cannot defeat thermal optics. The Green Berets were scanning the tree line with advanced infrared sensors, looking for the 98.6-degree heat signature of a human body. To bypass this, the KSK utilizes advanced thermal evasion doctrine. It is not just about wearing a thermal blocking poncho, it's about understanding thermal bridging. If a sniper lays flat on the freezing ground, their body heat transfers into the soil, creating a glowing radioactive silhouette that a drone or a thermal scope will pick up instantly. The KSK operators elevate themselves on micro platforms or specialized insulated mats, leaving an air gap between their bodies and the earth. Furthermore, they manage their own metabolic output. When a human breathes heavily, they exhale a massive plume of warm carbon dioxide. Over 72 hours, the KSK operators dropped their heart rates, utilizing specialized breathing techniques to minimize their thermal exhaust. They became cold-blooded. They merged with the baseline temperature of the forest, creating a zero-emission black hole right in the middle of the Americans' thermal displays. The physical mechanics of camouflage are useless without the psychological endurance to maintain them. This is where the KSK broke the American defenses. For 72 hours, the German sniper team did not stand up. They did not speak above a sub-vocal whisper. They ate, slept, and relieved themselves within the confines of a space barely larger than a coffin. They monitored the Green Beret.
Okay, but this, what happened here? You have to point this way. Outwards. You're pointing inward. So I think the AI picture just messed this one up.
Confines of a space barely larger than a coffin. They monitored the Green Berets using high-powered optics.
That's what I think. I don't know.
The micro habits of the American team.
That's what I think.
They mapped out the Green Berets' barge shift rotations, identified their radio antenna configurations, and plotted exact firing solutions for every single man in the American camp. The KSK didn't just watch them, they engineered a state of total overmatch. If the NATO exercise had been a real-world kinetic conflict, the American Green Beret team would have been surgically wiped out before they ever heard the crack of the rifles. When the exercise concluded and the commanders gathered for the after-action review, the American team was confident in their performance. They had successfully gathered their required intelligence and believed their perimeter was unbreached. The moment the KSK commander laid the infrared photographs on the table, showing perfectly clear, crosshair-centered images of the Americans cooking their rations, changing their socks, and manning their radios, the room went dead silent. It was a massive slice of humble pie for the U.S. forces, but it was also a critical reality check. In the realm of Tier 1 special operations, arrogance is lethal. The US Green Berets are undeniably one of the most elite forces on the planet, but the woods of Europe are the KSK's backyard. The incident served as a stark reminder that no matter how much funding, technology, or combat experience a unit has, the fundamental geometry of stealth and the absolute discipline of the quiet professional will always dictate who lives and who dies.
That makes a lot of sense.
The silent war between the world's most elite trackers is a game of millimeters and heartbeats. What do you think? If you had to evade an enemy force in the deep woods, would you rely on the survival mastery of the US Green Berets or the mathematical thermal evading perfection of the German KSK? Let us know down in the comments.
That's a hard one.
And if you want to keep diving into the actual physics and tactics of global defense,
that's a hard one. Green Berets, they're nasty. They're the real deal. They're Rambos. Just think about Rambo when you think about them. But then it all depends on what you need, right? If you go to a more tropical areas, you might need the Green Beret. But if you are more like European, like Ukrainian war with Russia, well, probably you will need a KSK. I think that would be more practical, in my opinion, because they're used to that terrain, that European terrain. Even here in the United States, we don't have that terrain. Have you guys noticed? All over the Midwestern, all over the Northeast, the West, the South, Southeast, Southwest, we don't have this kind of landscape that you guys have over there in Europe. Europe has a weird landscape where they have a lot of forests, but then rocky mountains. Then when you can just have snow, then just go. At least it's so different from American landscape. or the North American landscape. So, of course, I think the KSK in that regards will have a better outcome, I would say, in my opinion. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'll see you next one.